Hello, welcome to ET Deep Dive, ET's best reported stories on audio. Today's episode is based on Shantanu Nandan Sharma's report on how heroin addiction has taken root along the Assam Arunachal Pradesh border, turning a historic drug transit route into a region now battling its own consumption crisis. It's Sunday, the 26th of July. I'm Anirban Chowdhury. This is the Morning Brief. In 2017, Yano, whose name has been changed on request, was a Class 9 student in Pasighat, Arunachal Pradesh. One day, a group of friends offered her something that would deliver what they called an intense high. Curious, she smoked the brownish substance inside a small tobacco tin. Without a second thought, she handed over 500 rupees to the peddler. She had no idea that the first puff would mark the beginning of a years-long battle with addiction. Within days, Yano's craving became overwhelming. Desperate for another hit, she started searching for the peddler. To her, brown sugar was simply a foreign drug, unlike kani or opium, the narcotics she had grown up hearing about. For the next 3 years, until the COVID-19 pandemic, she remained hooked on brown sugar, the impure, street form of heroin often mixed with adulterants. Around 2020, she graduated to a whitish powder that she said looked like Horlicks, a far more potent and expensive drug. It was heroin, and this time she was injecting it. Today, at 24, Yano has left narcotics behind after 2 rounds of residential treatment at a rehabilitation center in Yingkiong, a town in Upper Siang district. Unemployed and estranged from her mother and 2 sisters, she is trying to rebuild her life. "I am a recovering warrior," she says confidently. Recovering Warriors is in fact the name of the civil society group she has recently joined. It's an organization yet to be registered in Oyan, a small town in Arunachal Pradesh, about 12 kilometers north of Murkong Selek, the last railway station in northern Assam and a locality widely regarded as a hotspot for drug trafficking. Yano has a single mission: to ensure that the young do not walk the dark path that had once consumed her. Once viewed largely as a transit route for narcotics from the Golden Triangle of Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand, Northeast India is now confronting a far more troubling reality. It is consuming the drugs. Arunachal Pradesh, particularly the districts along the Siang River, known as the Brahmaputra in Assam, has also been drawn into the crisis, even though it lies outside the principal drug trafficking corridor that runs through Myanmar, Manipur, Mizoram, Assam, and Tripura. The scale of trafficking underscores the magnitude of the challenge. Last year, narcotics agencies arrested 116 traffickers across the Northeast and seized drugs worth about 665 crore rupees. It is believed that these seizures represent only the tip of the iceberg, and that a far larger volume of narcotics is slipping through the region's borders. Across the country in 2025, the Narcotics Control Bureau seized 133,965 kilos of narcotic drugs with an estimated street value of around 2,000 crore rupees. During the year, 265 offenders, including 9 foreign nationals, were convicted, underscoring both the transnational nature of the trade and the intensifying enforcement efforts against it. The arrest of 2 Myanmar-based drug kingpins, Tan Sing Tuang, better known as Chin Tuang, in Delhi in May, and Nengza Tuan, alias Tuanpi, in Manipur's Churachandpur earlier this week, exposed the layers of a sophisticated cross-border trafficking network. Investigators say the syndicate supplied methamphetamine and heroin from Myanmar into India through the northeast, using an elaborate supply chain that stretched across the international border. According to the NCB's estimates, the illicit trafficking network anchored by Chintuang alone is valued at around 115 crore rupees. Earlier this month, ET met more than a dozen former drug users along the Assam-Arunachal Pradesh border to understand how they were drawn into addiction, what it took to break free, and how life changed from the depths of dependence to the difficult journey of recovery. They spoke candidly about the nexus between peddlers and users, the changing drugs landscape, the shifting prices of narcotics, and the ease with which they are now available. The most disturbing takeaway is this: heroin has become alarmingly accessible across the belt we have visited. Former users say the addiction has driven many to sell whatever they own, including family farmland, to finance their next doors. When they run out of possessions, some even turn to loot, trapped in a cycle of craving and dependence. The stories are as diverse as they are unsettling. Among those who spoke to Shantanu are graduates and postgraduates, a 46-year-old employee of Assam's education department, a former accountant at a tea estate owned by the son of a former Arunachal Pradesh chief minister, and a man from Arunachal who says he graduated from brown sugar to heroin while pursuing a master's degree in tourism in Shillong a few years ago. Many describe themselves as poly-drug users. Their descent into addiction typically began with cannabis before progressing to brown sugar and eventually heroin. One of them recalls, "I switched to heroin because I wanted to prove to myself that I was smarter." This former user is now the father of 6-year-old twins. He says, "I had also convinced myself that heroin would work as an aphrodisiac." The switch from brown sugar to heroin came at a steep price. He says, "When I was taking brown sugar, 4,000 rupees a week was enough. But after I shifted to heroin, I needed around 1,500 rupees every day." Of course, he has not touched drugs in the last 2 years of recovery. The Assam government employee offers a glimpse into the mechanics of the drug trade. "Drugs do not reach Jonai directly from Myanmar," he says, referring to the Assam town that borders Arunachal Pradesh. He adds, "Consignments first reach distributors in larger hubs like Guwahati. If someone in Jonai places an order worth 50,000 to 100,000 rupees, a peddler delivers it." According to him, the trade runs entirely on cash. The peddlers, he says, are often local residents who have good connections with distributors and brokers in the supply chain. The nature of the transaction is simple. A first-time buyer might call the peddler and say something like, "I'm waiting near so-and-so hotel," wearing a yellow t-shirt. The money changes hands, the drugs are delivered, and that's it. The ease and informality of the exchange, he says, have made narcotics remarkably accessible, even in small towns away from the international frontier. Another recovering user from Arunachal Pradesh, a 35-year-old with 2 school-going daughters, says users in the region distinguish between 2 varieties of brown sugar. One of them, he says, is significantly more potent and is known as Pagla brown sugar. Pagla meaning mad. "Once you take it, you lose control over yourself," he says. "You don't know what you're doing. People have assaulted others, committed robberies, and there have been cases of users dying in road accidents while under its influence." He says addiction had distorted his sense of reality completely. "I became convinced that my wife was having an affair," he recalls. "It was my imagination, but it triggered constant arguments and nearly destroyed my family." For those who are battling addiction, recovery begins not in a rehabilitation center, but at home. Tapir Darang, chief advisor to the All Arunachal Anti-Drugs Warriors, says family support is often the most important factor in helping a user break free from the grip of narcotics. He says, the biggest problem is families trying to hide someone's addiction. If they are unwilling to cooperate or seek help for the victim, we reach out to the clan chief of the tribe. Their intervention can make a crucial difference, but ultimately, it is important to get the user into a rehabilitation center. Darang says grassroots organizations are stepping in where families and institutions fall short. Among them is Recovering Warriors in Oyan, which he says is at the forefront of the fight against drug abuse in the Assam-Arunachal Pradesh border belt. Founded only last year, the organization has conducted anti-drug awareness programs in 24 villages while also participating in flood relief operations. Its president believes recovery is about much more than just detoxification. It is important for former drug users to have a community they can call their own. They play football, volleyball, and badminton together. Quitting narcotics is never easy, and staying away is even harder. Unless they remain connected and support one another, the risk of relapse is always there. In Vokha, in neighboring Nagaland, a district that lies outside the conventional narcotics trafficking route from Myanmar, a group of young Lotha Nagas has adopted an unconventional strategy to combat the drug menace. Convinced that the criminal justice system alone cannot stem the crisis, they have turned to tribal laws to deal with traffickers and users alike. The organization's president, who previously worked in the field of cyber law, says, "If we only rely on the law, Vokha will never become a drug-free district." After consulting the village elders, we decided to invoke our customary laws. Our approach is simple: rehabilitate the users and expel the peddlers. He requested anonymity. Repeat offenders or uncooperative users are required to sign a written undertaking that they will never return to narcotics, he adds. Just as Oyan and Pasighat in Arunachal Pradesh receive narcotics via the railway belt in Assam, Vokha's drug supply is routed through Merapani, another border town in Assam. In both places, the drugs do not directly arrive from Myanmar, although Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland share long international borders with the country. While the Northeast, along with states such as Punjab and Rajasthan, is identified by the NCB as a major hotspot for heroin trafficking, it is important to place the region's crisis in perspective. States such as Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland remain less affected than several other parts of the country in terms of overall narcotics enforcement indicators. In 2024, for instance, law enforcement agencies across India seized more than 1 million kilos of narcotic drugs. Arrests under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act were the highest in Kerala, amounting to 24,517, followed by Punjab, 9,734. This is according to a reply to a Lok Sabha query in February last year. By comparison, Arunachal Pradesh recorded 323 arrests and Nagaland 273. The relatively modest numbers, however, should not be mistaken for a lesser threat. In sparsely populated, predominantly tribal hill states such as Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland, even a few hundred users can leave lasting scars on families and entire communities. For many former users who are now parents, the greatest fear is no longer about relapsing. It is the possibility that their own children could one day follow the path they once did. A 40-year-old former drug user from Oyan says, "One question haunted me every day. What if my children too started taking drugs?" That fear pushed me to reclaim my life before it was too late. The real battle is no longer on the border. It is inside homes. That's it for today. You were listening to the latest ET Deep Dive on the Morning Brief. It was reported by Shantanu Nandan Sharma, narrated for audio by me, Anirban Chowdhury, sound designed by Indranil Bhattacharjee. This is incidentally our 1000th episode. Thank you, dear listeners, for being with us on this brilliant journey. Keep listening. Stay tuned.